Have you ever wondered why you feel out of sync with the world, like everyone else is dancing to a rhythm you can hear but never fully join, because your mind is racing 3 steps ahead, questioning things others don't even notice? What if the very traits that made teachers underestimate you, friends misunderstand you, and society label you as too much or too quiet are not flaws at all, but evidence of a mind that works on a level most people never see? And here's the uncomfortable question that stings a little if you let it sink in. What if your intelligence has been hiding in plain sight, silently shaping your life while you've been blaming yourself for not fitting the mold? Stay with me, because what we're about to explore might force you to rethink who you are, and why you've always felt different. There's a quiet pain that comes with a certain kind of mind. It's not loud or dramatic. It shows up late at night when the world finally goes silent and your thoughts don't. You replay conversations from years ago, not because you enjoy it, but because your brain refuses to let loose ends remain untied. You question decisions that everyone else has already forgotten. And somewhere deep inside, there's a fear that whispers, if I were truly smart, life wouldn't feel this confusing. That fear becomes personal, because no one told you that intelligence doesn't always look like speed or confidence. Neuroscience shows that some of the most complex brains experience life more intensely, more slowly, and more deeply, and that depth comes with a cost most people never talk about. But here's the twist we won't fully unpack yet: that cost is also the proof. One of the strangest signals of a high-functioning mind is an internal dialogue that never really shuts off. You don't just think, you narrate, rehearse, debate, and simulate entire futures inside your head. On the surface, it feels like overthinking, even self-sabotage. But beneath it lies a powerful psychological mechanism. Your brain is constantly modeling reality, testing outcomes before they happen. Imagine a chess player who can't stop seeing moves 5 turns ahead, even during a casual game. That ability can feel like a curse in everyday life, especially when others seem so relaxed and decisive. Yet the question lingers: if this habit is a burden, why does it consistently show up in people who solve complex problems and see patterns others miss? The answer sits just out of reach, and we'll circle back to it when it hurts the most. You might have noticed how quickly boredom creeps in for you. Repetition drains you. Small talk exhausts you. Tasks that others find comforting feel suffocating. This often gets mistaken for laziness or entitlement, and over time, you may have started believing that lie yourself. But your brain's reward system plays by different rules. When novelty disappears, stimulation drops, and your mind begins searching for something deeper, richer, more challenging. That search can look like restlessness or distraction, but it's actually hunger. The unsettling part is this: when that hunger goes unmet for too long, it can turn inward, becoming frustration, self-doubt, or even quiet despair. And the real danger isn't boredom, it's what happens when a sharp mind is starved of meaning. We're not done with this thought yet. Self-doubt is another paradox that traps intelligent people in silence. You second-guess yourself not because you're unsure, but because you're aware. Aware of how much you don't know, how fragile certainty really is, how often reality proves us wrong. While others speak with confidence built on simplicity, you hesitate, measuring the weight of your words. That hesitation can feel like weakness in a world that rewards loudness. But psychology reveals something unsettling: the more complex your understanding, the less comfortable blind confidence becomes. This creates a painful loop. Others appear sure, you appear unsure, and slowly you start wondering if you're the one missing something. But what if the discomfort you feel is actually a sign that your mind refuses to lie to itself? Hold on to that question, because it leads somewhere uncomfortable but freeing. There's also a reason quiet hours feel sacred to you. When the noise of the day fades, something opens up. Ideas connect. Emotions surface. Creativity breathes. Late nights aren't about rebellion or poor discipline. They're about space. When distractions dissolve, your mind finally has room to wander, to integrate, to make sense of things it couldn't touch during the chaos of daylight. Neuroscience suggests that certain minds do their best work when external input decreases, but society rarely makes room for that rhythm. So you adapt, often at the cost of sleep and social approval. And yet, during those quiet moments, you feel most yourself. The question is, why does clarity come when the world goes dark? You may also be painfully aware of sounds, textures, and subtle changes in your environment. A ticking clock can feel like an attack. Background noise drains you faster than physical labor. This sensitivity is often dismissed as being too much, but your brain is simply absorbing more data than average. Pattern recognition thrives on detail, but detail comes at a price: overstimulation. When your mind is constantly processing, it never fully rests. That's why you feel tired even when you've done nothing. And here's the bitter truth most people never tell you: the same sensitivity that overwhelms you is what allows you to notice what others miss. Whether that's emotional shifts, hidden intentions, or opportunities hiding in plain sight. But what happens when you start wishing you could feel less? Procrastination is another misunderstood companion. You don't delay because you don't care. You delay because your mind resists shallow urgency. It waits. It watches. It wants the problem to matter before it engages fully. Then, when the pressure becomes real, something clicks, and you perform with frightening intensity. This pattern confuses people who live by steady routines, and it may have made you question your discipline or character. But psychology tells a different story. Some minds need stakes, not schedules. The risk is not procrastination itself, but living in a world that mistakes unconventional focus for failure. And the deeper question remains unanswered: what kind of environment would allow a mind like yours to thrive without punishment? Perhaps the most overlooked sign of all is emotional depth. You don't just feel, you absorb. Joy hits harder. Loss lingers longer. You sense undercurrents in people's words, even when they don't say much. This makes relationships intense and sometimes exhausting. You've probably been told you're too sensitive, too serious, too affected. Over time, that message sinks in, and you start guarding your heart, shrinking your reactions, dulling yourself to survive. But neuroscience paints a different picture. Emotional intelligence and cognitive complexity often grow together. The same neural networks that process abstract thought also deepen emotional awareness. And here's the emotional peak most people aren't ready for: the world didn't wound you because you were weak, it wounded you because you were open. At the core of all this lies a trait that never truly fades: curiosity. Even when you're tired. Even when you're discouraged. You keep asking why. You keep searching for better explanations, deeper truths, more honest answers. Not to impress anyone, but to understand yourself and the world. This constant seeking can feel like restlessness, like you're never satisfied. But history shows that the minds that change the world are rarely content with easy answers. The real danger isn't that you question too much. It's that one day, you might stop. And here's the final truth, the one that lands quietly but changes everything: intelligence isn't always visible from the outside. Sometimes it hides behind doubt, sensitivity, boredom, and silence. Sometimes it feels like a burden before it ever feels like a gift. If you've spent your life trying to become simpler, quieter, smaller, maybe the problem was never you. Maybe it was a world that didn't know what to do with a mind like yours. And the question that lingers now is this: what would happen if you stopped trying to fix yourself, and started understanding yourself instead?